Hello everybody and welcome back to yet another video and to another episode of Weird Disney Cars Diecast Errors and Inconsistencies. Now over 50 inconsistencies into the series, and we still don't have a shorter title for the series. As my very long title shows, in this series I discuss Weird Disney Cars Diecast Errors and Inconsistencies. Mattel, time and time again, year after year, wave after wave, makes a lot of strange errors and inconsistencies within the Disney Cars diecast line, and in this series, I document them. But today, I'm not alone because today I'm joined by the great, world-renowned Turbo Tractor. This is a collab with him. He's a recently started Cars channel who makes incredibly great content. Make sure to check him out. A link to his channel will be in the description. So, again, make sure you guys check him out. He's a great guy, and it's really fun working with him on this video. For this video, I'll be discussing 5 errors, and he'll be discussing another 5. We'll be switching off. But he's recorded his own intro segment, so I'll let him take it from here.
Hello there everyone, I hope you're doing very well today. I am world-renowned Turbo Tractor. Some of you might be familiar with my channel, perhaps not, but anyways, I am a huge Disney Cars fan, love it to death, and I am here with T-Toy Reviews Ty today to talk about some more errors and inconsistencies with the Disney Pixar Cars line from Mattel and so forth. And I want to thank you, T-Toy Reviews Ty, for having me on here. I really enjoy your series here quite a bit. You put lots of analysis into it, and because us as collectors, we all want to see Mattel correct their errors and stuff. The thing is, they're probably not going to be doing it anytime soon, so the thing we can do is just perhaps, embrace it and maybe have a few laughs on the way.
The first thing I want to talk about today is an inconsistency that actually really confused me when it happened. The 2020 Cars Diecast checklist poster showed that the race team Luigi and Guido with headsets would be released as singles in 2020, but they weren't, and instead only the regular race team Luigi and Guido were released. In fact, I think they were released before the poster was, so the whole situation was just really confusing to me, and I'm sure I wasn't alone on that. Race team Luigi and Guido with headsets, however, were re-released in 2021 in a 5-pack, but not in a 2020 single.
For the Lightning McQueen with signed diecast, a lot of us probably feel like it was a lame release to start with, and it really honestly is. But what makes it even worse are the errors with it. You can just pull out your 2020 Blue Desert card artwork showing the McQueen was signed, and you can see the digital artwork showing the sign of Lightning McQueen, and we can see that the expression is quite a bit different from the Lightning McQueen expression on the actual sign accessory that comes with him. So, very big error. And what makes it even worse is that they just sent along the regular standard Lightning McQueen diecast for that with his big smiling expression, which does not match his expression at all when he was disappointed to have to speak in front of the rusty old cars that he was trying to avoid. So it's just a totally lame release all the way through. The expression is bad for him. It's not even changed at all. All they do is send an inaccurate accessory as a sign in the first place. So the question really becomes, do you want your Lightning McQueen diecast with a sign or don't you?
For years, the guy you're looking at right here has been one of the rarest lemons, only ever released back in the Mater's Secret Mission series in a 2-pack alongside Holly Shiftwell that was exclusive to Walmart back when Cars 2 first came out. And his name is Fred Pacer. Or is it Fred Fispalski? As you can see from these 2 pictures from Take 5 a Day that reported on this back in the day, Fred here was released with both the name Fred Pacer and Fred Fispalski on the same release. Which one is canon? We don't know, but Meet the Cars refers to him as Fred Pacer, so I think it's probably that, but also I don't really think it's that. A lot of the Pacers just have Pacer as their last name, just like addressing the fact that they are a Pacer. I really don't know. Personally, I prefer the name Fred Fispalski, but that's just me. And I think it's really all up to you. Would you rather call him Fred Pacer or Fred Fispalski?
Moving right along with the 2020 Mattel Wasabi Mater release, which we were all kind of thrilled to see to some extent or another because it's the first time he has appeared outside of a multi-pack. It was very nice to see. However, there are some errors with the release because The art on the package does not feature a 95 logo as the actual model does, which in this case the model is more accurate. So yeah, they messed up on the digital artwork on the packaging by not featuring the 95 logo. Also, the model's expression is very, very tame in comparison to the actual artwork, how we would probably recall seeing Wasabi Mater. It's just not lively enough. They didn't really pack a whole lot of expression into it as a character like Mater really ought to have. All they do is paint some wasabi on his tongue, and there is no other wasabi shown, as the artwork shows it all over his face, and he looks pretty crazy. It didn't really have that effect to the fullest extent as it should have. On the diecast, it's also notable to mention that Mater was never actually seen clearly in Cars 2 with the wasabi in his mouth. He was seen eating it, and then he was seen washing his mouth out in the middle of Miles Axelrod speaking with Lightning McQueen, and he was later seen eating it in a dream, but we never actually saw it in his mouth. During his dream, the only scene when he is shown eating it, he also has the all-in-all cans in the back, unlike the model, so that is also inaccurate.
Now let's talk about an error regarding a Cars 3 variant of Paunchy Wipeout. No, not the famous case of his weird eyelids. I'd like to talk about something strange about his XRS Mud Racer. Almost every XRS Mud Racer uses an edited image of the regular racer that adds all of the XRS modifications, as you can see here with Speedy Comet. This is his normal artwork, and then that gets edited into the XRS artwork. But despite Paunchy having been given his own Cars 3 artwork in 2019, when it came time to release his XRS Mud Racer, for whatever reason, they didn't edit that image of him, instead choosing to edit an image of Cal Weathers, turning it into Paunchy Wipeout. I really don't get why they did this, instead of just using the image of Paunchy they already had. This has always bugged me ever since it was revealed. I never got why they chose to use Cal's face for Paunchy. Like, this is clearly the image of Cal Weathers, just edited. And I'll say it, they did a really, really good job at editing it and making it look like Paunchy. It looks just like him, you know. But clearly, this was Cal Weathers, you know. They have the same expression, they're in the exact same pose, and although the eye colors and the details are different, you could definitely tell that this is an image of Cal Weathers changed to be Paunchy, and I just don't get why they chose to do that.
We have only gotten a few releases of the World Grand Prix racers with flames so far during the all-in-all blowout scene, which is a little bit disappointing, but at least we've gotten two, right? Except that one of them is a terrible release in my opinion. The Nigel Gearsley with flames release is actually really good. He looks good with the flames and with his movie-accurate expression, which is really, really nice, and I have no complaints with him whatsoever. However, Carla Velosa with flames uses her normal expression. She is the exact same mold as the regular Carla Velosa model, except that she has a plastic flames design attached on the back. And she looks rather indifferent to the fact that she nearly got blown up, and if you think about that, it's somewhat disturbing. Not to mention, even if it's extremely disturbing, it's not only that, it's extremely inaccurate to the movie. So I'm not sure where they went wrong there.
Let's switch gears for a minute and talk about a Disney Store release instead. When I reviewed the Disney Store's JP Drive back in 2019, I noticed something incredibly odd on his side. His secondary sponsor sticker for Carbon Cyber was missing both of its C's, making it instead say Arbin Iber. As the Disney Store's cars often have far lower quality than Mattel's releases, and almost all of mine have some sort of paint blemish, I'd assume it was just my personal copy of JP Drive. That was, at least, until I got a message from somebody who sent me a picture of their JP Drive who was also missing the C's on his Carbon Cyber logo. So it wasn't just me, it was all JP Drives. Every one was missing the C's from his Carbon Cyber logo. In fact, if you look on his shopdisney.com listing to this day, the image used, which is the one I've been using throughout this segment, is missing the C's on his Carbon Cyber logo, which means that every Disney Store JP Drive says Arbin Iber.
Next, we could talk about the blatant mistake that Mattel has made with Dexter Hoover. Dexter Hoover has been released with a checkered flag, a green flag, and a yellow flag, And as we all know, Dexter Hoover is always shown waving a flag with his wheel, which is the equivalent of an arm for a car, which makes perfect sense. However, the flags that come with Dexter Hoover on his models attached to his rear view mirrors, which are possibly the equivalent of his ears, and if so, that's just weird. It's inaccurate. It's not good. However, to Mattel's credit, they did release Chris Revstopski with her flag attaching to her wheel, which is accurate. However, they have not changed this for Dexter Hoover so far, even though he was recently released as the checkered flag version in a multi-pack this year in 2021, which is inaccurate, and it's not like they couldn't have attached it to his wheel, because they did with Chris Revstopski. It's just strange. There's no good explanation, which is why it's just an error and an inconsistency that we will never know the answer to.
Back in 2018, Mattel started updating several of the Radiator Springs Townie characters, making them more accurate to the movie and closer to their Precision Series models. And while they, for the most part, stayed pretty consistent with using these updated variants with some exceptions, Sally, who was one of the first cars to receive an update back in 2018, is yet to see that update re-released. In 2019, 2020, and 2021, they released the original Sally instead of the more accurate update. This is something that's really been bugging me for the past few years. It's really annoying to see that they have this new, more accurate Sally, and then they just keep releasing the wrong one, the outdated one. It was really upsetting for me to see that it happened again in a 2021 2-pack, but, then again, it's not the worst thing to happen in a 2021 2-pack regarding an inconsistency. Yeah, I'm not touching that one. That one's like the final boss of errors and inconsistencies.
Talking about the crew chief mold that is shared by Roman Dunes, Chief RPM, and Earl Filter, if we're honest, as far as we can tell, it really only works for Roman Dunes. Chief RPM and Earl Filter, just the mold does not go with them. It just doesn't, because as we can see on the card artwork for Chief RPM, he is shown with a vehicle model that is more similar to like Raid Candyman, and even down to the headlight and grille decals, it is totally inaccurate that they would use Roman Dunes mold for that. Not to mention the card artwork, furthermore, is inaccurate for Chief RPM, as in the movie he appears with a white paint job, not a yellow paint job, which they show him with, which is just mind-boggling. And it's just, wow, they can't even say that this character appeared in Cars because it looks nothing like him. So, I mean, what else do I have to say? That's just really, really weird, and I'm confused.
Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching this episode of Weird Disney Cars Diecast Errors and Inconsistencies. I hope you all enjoyed it. Huge thank you to world-renowned Turbo Tractor for joining me on this episode. Once again, make sure to check out his channel. A link to it will be in the description, as well as the link to my poll for my Cars Diecast Awards. If you want to vote for that, voting is still open, so make sure you do that if you'd like to. But yeah, definitely make sure to check out world-renowned Turbo Tractor, and here he is to say a few words to close out the video.
So, thank you everyone for watching. I hope you liked my errors and consistencies for this video, and thanks again to Toy Reviews Ty for having me on here. I feel really privileged to have done this, and it's been really fun digging up some of these errors. There are so many more errors than I would imagine. It's really crazy that they have done so many of these errors, and so it's really fun to document all of them. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you all have an amazing day.
How could you forget the C in Carbon Cyber? Arbon Iber.